Aphelios to be strong.
And we're seeing a lot more Jinx in response, right? It feels like we're back in spring yet again. And I've been saying that on repeat for a couple of weeks now, but truly with Aphelios Jinx being the prioritize, with Zeri, Kalista already banned away, we're just running it back a little bit here as OMG looks for maybe a different priority. Remember, Lyric, they keep flexing this every single game. They flex Arky's champion pool, and the enemy team does too. It's like something that's a hidden smile.
Come on, Hysterics. Let OMG lock it in. Go for the Sylas. And we got Creme on something. He is extremely comfortable. 4 games to split, 100% win rate. Fits his play pattern perfectly. Now for OMG, you would typically expect for the Jinx or jungle to come out here. They will just opt into the Jinx pick now. And I'm kind of wondering, where our priority does go with junglers. Viego, Wukong, both still being open. I feel like Beichuan especially has leaned a lot heavier on that Viego. 10 games played so far. Not the highest win rate, but definitely something he would be incredibly comfortable getting his hands on.
Yeah, an insane play rate though, right? So, Viego, the first thought in mind, you've already brought up the Wukong. Lee Sin's been looked at too, but instead we get Ucal's Azir. Now, Lyric, this is something that we didn't get to talk about, but also a 3-0 pick here from the mid laner of TT.
And it gives them a safety net to fall back on. We can already see TT can set up their comp really well for a lot of range to be able to go through. Support, that's where I'm very interested because typically, right, you would think, okay, well, if they want to go with disengage but still have engage, like you could always go towards something like the Alistar. But with the fact that there's Sylas on the opposite side, you really don't want to be giving Creme that unbreakable. So, gonna wait for that one. They are gonna pick the Gnar, which is still just another fantastic ultimate for Creme to be able to get his hands on. But TT have set themselves up to have a bit of range, to have a bit of pressure inside lanes with the Gnar, but mostly set up for those huge team fights later on. We just need the supporting staff built around it.
And it makes sense, right, when we consider that Shanji, Creme, even Hoya, Ucal have been pretty pivotal for their teams. So as we get the GP locked in as well, Lyric, I like this from OMG. We get a bit of global presence, but we kind of have to move forward and look at what's being missed out by getting these early priority solo lanes. We don't have a support on the Rift whatsoever.
No, neither side going towards it. I feel like OMG have a lot more options that they are more comfortable with to look at, especially since, again, they don't have to be afraid of things like that Sylas on the opposing side. To where for TT, still actually just wanting to go down that boat of just focusing down these support picks, taking away some enchanters that could be a little bit more annoying to deal with in laning phase, because I feel like you don't really care about things like Tahm Kench or other defensive supports coming through for OMG side if you're TT, just because you already have the range advantage to come through. And typically things like Braum or Tahm Kench, you can just whittle them down in an extended standoff, and those defensive tools don't really mean all that much if TT aren't looking to commit into you.
So what about things like Leona then? What about a further engage for something like Jerry? He hasn't played it yet. The Nami, Braum, as you already mentioned, and the Lulu that's banned away. Those are his champions, and we normally see Nami paired up with the Lucian as per regulation.
For OMG, I think you could definitely look to go towards it. I would expect that, things like the Alistar still being open as well.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Any of these they can be looking to go towards as TT. Just keep taking away these enchanter options. But I'm still just more curious about jungle, just with how far it's fallen through the priority list. OMG going with the Wukong, so going with the more engage-heavy side of the trade that we usually see brought through, which leaves the other side of the trade open for the side of TT.
But you already raised this issue. Beichuan, this has been one of his favorites, but he's only won 2 games out of 10. And I know, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking a lot about win rates here. It feels like this matchup is quite specific to it, with a lot of comfort picked around the board. A lot of the best, what am I trying to say, Lyric? Best champions picked up for individual players. And for Beichuan, it might be his 11th game, might not have the best win rate, but it is still his comfort, which it looks like OMG don't really care about.
Yeah, and for TT, going towards it now, picking up the Braum as well, you don't really have anything that super easily sets up for the resets to be able to come through. A ton of DPS in extended fights are able to come out from TT. They now have a bit of disengage, have a bit of zone control to come out from Yao Yao when members like Shanji and Aki will be jumping in and trying to find access to the backline. And now for OMG, just going to index into more engage. We already hit on the Leona option being there, and now also highlighting this Rakan. They're going to go with it, so should have a very easy time just like Eing onto one of his allies, jumping in there with the quickness and finding a way to lock down Ucal and Puff. Because for TT, front-to-back team fights, right, it's going to be all about keeping Ucal and Puff safe to where for OMG, it feels like they're a lot more skirmish-oriented. They should be much more willing to take fights in the early game.
Okay.
And it's all about finding creative flank opportunities or just ways to get access onto TT's backline.
Maybe a bit of access on, a bit of presence on Jerry as well. This is his 5th game of the LPL. Cold was in for game 1 against FPX. They subbed him out. OMG won the 2 consecutive games after. And now Jerry has earned a place next to Abel. We'll have to see how long that lasts, but at the very least here on the Rakan, he's got some duties to do. Now, Lyric, back over to TT. We talked a little bit about Yao Yao and Beichuan syncing up, the 2 core members of Thunder Talk Gaming. And I want to get your insight here and into how the draft's going to work, maybe more in the early game, because I feel like when you're saying front to back, when you're saying that OMG want to be the ones who play it bloody, play the skirmishes, then for TT, maybe early game isn't as proactive as we've seen from this team in the past.
No, definitely not. I think they come in with less options, right? Like, you should be able to gain prio, throughout some lanes, like in mid especially. Azir should be able to bully out the Sylas for the first few levels, and maybe that could turn into things like early scuttle crabs or so on and so forth, but not much in terms of like 2v2 or 3v3 power there. Bot lane, maybe potential, but you are still a Braum at the end of the day, so you're kind of relying more on OMG to go into you and you looking for counter ganks. So great point bringing up the fact that TT can't be as proactive as they like, because that has been one of the things they needed to succeed.
Well, maybe their mid game's going to look a lot better then. Maybe they sit on their laurels a little bit and TT make their way to a cruisy mid game that, ladies and gentlemen, we have seen a lot of TT's mid games. They haven't been too great, but here's hoping. Remember today, it starts with TT beating OMG in the series to start JDG's run towards the first team to steal players. Good abscond ducked here from Creme, but it's simply a trade with Beichuan standing guard. Now, Lyric, anything on the map you want to talk about? I see pretty standard runes across the board. I see pretty standard champions as well, which, when we're talking about OMG, I feel like is a rarity.
It definitely is, but still, I mean, being able to find semblances of that comfort is also easy when you have certain players like Shanji who, right, he's played the unique picks, but he's also just played everything. He's played the Gwen, he's played the GP, the Sejuani, the Kale, like all things we've seen throughout the split, he's been willing to pull out. So going back to what is standard, and when we've hit on for TT, expecting a bit of a slower early game for OMG, it'd be nice to see a little bit more actually coming from the 3 positions we highlighted for TT. Mid jungle support. Abel shouldn't feel too much threat if he is left in lane alone, which should open up Jerry to having these roam opportunities to look to impact mid. And then you're setting up for Creme, Aki, and Jerry to be looking for these plays, controlling enemy jungle, and just overall using the amount of CC they have to lock TT's members down and find the early game advantage for themselves.
Because again, you talked at the level 6 markers, we see Shanji absolutely clobbering Hoya. Welcome to the LPL, champ. Shanji has been on a bit of a tear recently. If you haven't been tuning in, I mean, this top laner running his Siobhan at top, but even more so, his 12 unique picks, Lyric, have been insane to watch. And GP now is most played. It's just a nice time watching this guy after spring was a great start, by the way, but just didn't end up being great towards the end.
No, looked like a bit of a I don't want to say one trick, but had certain picks he excelled on to where now he's really shined on a lot of picks and found a great level 1 trade. Trial by Fire and Parlay level 1 just incredibly strong. But we could see on the ward that the Observer showed that it didn't look like Aki was spotted out. Beichuan, though, is, but Flash.
Yeah, the Flash already burned away, so maybe the jungle's done enough. Beichuan now over the ward as he exits. As meanwhile, we're looking the mid lane, and Creme is taking bad trades as well. Lyric, there's some pretty devastating lanes to kick us off with already one summoner, showing that this game could get bloody a little bit faster than expected.
And we can see on the bottom right hand of our screens how it happened. Whoa. Actually, Yao Yao going for the flash Q first. Abel playing it safe, not wanting to wait out. In terms of what happened in the mid lane, right? For Sylas, you have to be willing to trade mana and HP to keep up and farm. And if you look at the CS numbers, he's done that. But we don't have time to talk about farm numbers because Beichuan's going for it again.
And he's not spotted out this time around. I mean, Shanji going for the deep trades. It started out great, but as he flashes over the wall, Hoya's able to match. Beichuan commits the flash. And it doesn't matter that TT have a slower comp this time, Lyric. The early game's all the same.
We see for Beichuan, he's looking for the opportunities. I guess Shanji just not expecting it from the fact that Beichuan did just show bot side like 30 seconds ago. So he thought it was fine to try to bully out Hoya a little bit more. Aki now, though, wants to get a bit of bullying himself done, but no, ultimately with TPs coming out from both of TT's soul laners, Aki doesn't feel safe looking for this invade.
And Hoya got the first blood as well, so just to note that while we saw the jungler move topside, Hoya now in a much better position as Gnar, able to pick up cloth armor and boots on his first return back here, Lyric. So TP burnt for both top laners, but Shanji now a little bit vulnerable. Well, how vulnerable is the GP with Orange? That's maybe I have to reevaluate that.
I mean, we saw him die while having Orange before, right? So
Okay,
I guess it just depends on how much aggression he's willing to put out, or if TT can force some kind of bounce back on top wave and force Shanji in an uncomfortable position where he is under Hoya's wave. So there's definitely opportunities there, but if it is just left in this isolated 1v1, Shanji should have a fine time of just being able to hold his wave close to his turret or in a decently neutral position.
So I wanted to come back while we're still in this early game and talk about what, I was mentioning before on someone like Creme. In draft, you said he still had some pretty good ults to steal this game, and for OMG, we know the first couple of objectives are going to be big because of how you set up this fight to work out, this composition. And I feel like 6 is worth mentioning for Creme, with all he can steal, plus the timing around the first or second dragons, even Herald.
The two big ones for Creme are going to be Hoya and Ucal's ults. Hoya's especially, I think, is just by far the best for Sylas, being able to just jump in and find, like, a multi-man CC. But Ucal's will be fine, especially if you can catch someone like Puff or Ucal himself out with that ulti. The other ones, I think, don't have as much value. Yaoya's will be fine, but considering the fact that, hey, what's the first thing we typically fight over in the early game? It's Rift Herald, and one of the ultimates you prefer are the top 2 soul lane ultimates. So I think OMG definitely should be feeling pretty good as we near closer to that 8-minute mark. And we can see for now that, knowing that, we don't really have too much going on. Aki just clearing out his jungle for now.
Maybe we can just take track of the summoners. I mean, Shanji doesn't have his. Abel's was burned by Yaoya's flash before. So as Dragon spawns, we'll just keep track of that and see what happens throughout the lane, because Beichuan continues to pay visits towards the bottom lane. But I like this. I mean, Aki once again on the right side of the map, trying to make a counter gank if anything proceeds further.
Oh, and they're actually going to run into each other.
Is it going to proceed further? Maybe it is. I mean, Aki, though, it's a Wukong against AD. Taking the extended trade now, okay, as Creme's level 6, by the way. He's stolen away the Emperor's Divide, but Ucal has his own, as it stops right there for now. Could have gone to duck here as Creme wants to set it up for the flash ulti, but holds his trigger for now, and Ucal just takes a dangerous trade on the return back to lane.
And we can see now TT posturing in this around mid lane in bot side river. Looks like just wanting to make sure that Aki doesn't look for any funny business. We need to remember, though, that Beichuan is a level up. That's why it looked like he felt so confident in taking that trade. It was only once the mid laner started moving over, he did back off. But TT needs to prio they built up with Beichuan invading in both lanes for OMG having to try to react, turning that into a dragon.
Really good to see the early games playing out as usual. I mean, Yao especially, right? Not only within the lane, showcasing his quick thinking, but moving with Beichuan to the mid lane. The first dragon goes down, and TT once again on the board. It's so nice talking positively about this team, Lyric, because it has been like 3 years where I have watched since Sino Dragon days this team be a playoff contender. And even though like we're so far off, we're only week 7. They're 3 and 5. But still, the fact that they're just playing, one part of the game so cleanly is a nice addition.
It's just about the context, right? Because since they have been Thunder Talk Gaming, I mean, this has just been a bottom-tier team in the league. And again, they're still sitting towards the bottom end standings of the league, but they're competitive. They're able to bring a fight to a team in their roster that has just been thrown together. I mean, the difference between these two teams, TT just kind of plugging and playing different players until they found this amalgamation, compared to OMG, who kept the core together for such a while. Even with Cold being subbed out, him still being here, Abel on the roster, Aki, Creme, like this was the roster looking back at last year, right? So
yep.
Two very different stories for two very different teams, leading them to a similar place.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, look, I was going to say with TT, they are towards the bottom, but they're not the bottom. That's the real difference, this split. WE, IG, LGD holding that place for now. TT, a firm way above as, it's early days, folks. We've only just started the series. What's more important is that Herald's being started here by Beichuan, and OMG want to contest now with ults available on their jungle too, and Jerry having his own too, Lyric.
OMG are a little bit late, though. I mean, Creme doesn't have TP. He's still far away, but they're going.
By himself. Jerry's going to pop the ulti. Cannon Barrage helps out from Shanji. They believe in him as...
Wait!
Aki got it! OMG walked in with a massive numbers disadvantage, and Aki's ult enough as Hoya flashes away. Emperor's Divide sends him to the Mega Gnar, but he ain't Mega yet, as Puff joins in, and TT looking for the team fight. Puff enables it, takes it under his own wing, and TT find another as he runs forward. Shanji's now in trouble with the flash available. Hoya doesn't have his own to close the gap. Jerry's over the wall too, and it stops there, but I'm just surprised that OMG got away with that.
OMG opted into the fight despite how far Creme was away from the play. They got the objective. Sure, TT got the kills, but it felt like that should have been the objective for TT. Nice cleanup coming out from them. They did have to rotate Puff up towards topside, who initially had stayed down towards the bottom half of the map. But, yeah, I mean, both teams kind of trading back and forth in terms of what they're able to get. We see here Aki coming in, and I want to see where Beichuan uses his smite, because actually used it incredibly early just to be able to try and survive.
Yeah. Still
ended up going down to the Ignite coming out from Jerry. And then we see here, Ucal finding really nice pushback right into Hoya, who's still very healthy. It buys enough time for Puff to be able to get here. Moonlight Vigil finishing Aki off. And then Creme trying to find more access in, I assume, to finish Ucal off. That Emperor's Divide definitely being a bit of a game changer there for TT, along with the numbers advantage.
As the scrap seems to continue, though, I mean, we talked about both these teams, at least TT especially, in their last series being really scrappy. OMG have always shown those signs as well, and Lyric especially with this draft. As we see TT with a 1k gold lead, but Herald is in the back pocket of Aki now. And we can kind of question where this is going to go, because while Abel was able to... Oh, God, I can't believe myself. While Abel stayed in lane, I should say, he was able to pick up a plate. So Abel didn't join in, and Lyric, OMG, able to get some of that gold, you know, in his back pocket. Now with the Herald available as well, I wanted to ask you what the options are for OMG to place.
For OMG, I think you're definitely looking towards bot. Mid is always an option, considering you do have such good wave clear on the side of TT, but considering typically you'd want Creme to be looking to move, you'd want him to be moving out towards that bot side is, Ucal.
Creme has no flash. He's stolen the Empress Divide. That abscond abduct almost cost him his life, and, you know, that's kind of like Lee Syndrome, but Lee Sylas-drome doesn't really have the same ring to it.
Creme looking for the aggression, knowing that a lot of Sylas like... How Sylas wins trades is typically through these all-ins. Go in, burst him out a little bit. You get the healing from Kingslayer, you back off. You aren't just letting him whittle you down, but going a little bit too far to allow for the Emperor's Divide to be able to come through. But when we're talking about Heralds and just setting up how the game goes forward, right, this will be an annoyance later on. Is OMG being able to break down TT's mid lane turret when they do have such a immovable force with great wave clear in the Azir, but TT starting to angle down towards the bot side.
Puff is going first, but look, trying to scout it out, doesn't find anything. And so now Jerry's all in with the flash, the quickness as well, the AoE, the super mega death rocket, and the cannon barrage. Lyric, OMG's global pressure taking over here, and once again, making it a fair fight for them.
Cheeky little play coming out from OMG. Puff getting baited into a false sense of security with the fact that the Calibrum shot didn't hit anything. And now OMG are going to end up using this Herald down in bot with the fact that they found that pick. And oh my God, they're actually going to be able to get the full turret off of this.
They are. I mean, Abel set it up a little bit earlier. He walks to the turret and perfect timing. OMG with the brain smarts to get first blood turret, and second dragon's up here. They'll be able to deny it from TT. So it looks like the condition isn't set this early on, Lyric. The camera's going to change in a second. And we are going to watch around Dragon, because I might be wrong with Dragon already starting it at 2k. Beichuan walking in, but no, Aki steals it back away, if it even was a steal. And it looks like OMG with a beneficial play coming off the back.
Nice job by OMG. I mean, just the sequence of events was so nice for them. TT are aware, hey, we just should not walk through this choke. There could be people here. They try to do their due diligence. You can even see him starting to back off, but it just gives Jerry this beautiful opportunity to go in, chain that with the Cyclone coming out from Aki. They find the pick, and it turns it to a turret and a dragon.
Man, OMG, you know, shaping up nicely here in the early game.
Just real quick, like, I really wish we could just have Puff's thoughts given to us of where he's like, you know, I don't want to walk down here. I'll check the brush. No one's probably in there. It starts to back up, and it just, I don't know. He was about to do his due diligence. He was this close to doing it.
And then he walks down anyway. I mean, Puff's that kind of 80 character, right? Like, there's been some amazing team fighting moments, and there's also been some Puff moments. And once again, we're back at the Puff moments. CT decided to put him in for game number 1 instead of Kepler, when, you know, Kepler and Yao have been the bottom lane that we saw in the last series, and I don't know, I would say more of the successful bottom lane, considering that Puff and SouthWind haven't really made an appearance in a while.
You would just consider that they probably have more synergy together, considering Yaya and Kepler got brought up together and were replacing Puff and SouthWind, right? So the scrim times already coming through, having played together, of course, in the LDL and things along those lines. So they're definitely getting a bit of a shakeup as more fighting.
Jerry caught out, exploded in a minute. Now Beichuan will have a further engage as he used himself with a shield, a knock up, and Arky's followed through. Beichuan again as the flash for flash comes in over the Krug pit. Abel's going to be able to help him out, but Beichuan a little bit unleashed here, considering that now Arky's still up for the chase. Level lead for this Viego, and Arky's going to burn the ulti, but one more hit, and Ucal finds the range. Now Abel is isolated, and Creme coming in. I don't know if he can save him, and I don't know if TT really care.
Hysterics, is this game really being decided by brush plays? That's what's happening, right? Teams just keep walking either close to or full on face checking where they don't have vision. And I mean, just nice setup by TT to know that OMG are going to want to look for this play. They find the pick. It turns into the objective. So this time around, no Aki around to steal that one away, and TT will be able to keep trying to extend their gold lead with this.
But let's be real, what you set up for TT in this game, now that we're kind of moving into the mid game, that we've got that first turret broken in the bottom side, OMG might be even in gold, but it feels like TT in a better position as Lyric. Let's first talk about this because Jerry did the same as Puff.
Jerry walks in, he's trying to get vision control down. As a Rakan, you feel a lot of safety kind of walking into places where you don't have vision, just between your E, your W, even quickness to an extent, right? Being able to get out of somewhere. So does get punished because there was a good amount of CC and just burst overall coming out from TT, especially with Ucal being so strong right now, already having the Ludens picked up. But you're hitting on, you know, where we're at with teams right now. Definitely feels like TT are in the better position. I mean, they're up in gold, you're 1-1 in Dragons, you still have Herald. But the thing I'll say for OMG's comp, even if it falls behind, is with the amount of lockdown it has, you always have potential to punish TT and like use that one pick to find your way forward.
Ooh, Everfrost coming through. Hang on a minute. Creme double ulti. Everybody's staying alive. Oh, we're back to disco here as Ucal now starts punishing Creme a little bit, but the slide and glide, everybody divide.
Both finding their way to push the other one back. Creme wanting to find that all in so he doesn't get whittled out like we see in the extended standoff when Ucal is just right in front of his face. And now Shanji, are they going to find him?
They are. Shanji stops the back here, looking for the solo kill, but it ain't solo when Aki comes over the wall. Jerry moving down as well, but Hoya's okay for now. And Lyric, coming back to what you were saying with OMG's potential in the late game, I'm just going to quickly touch on this because I feel like the global presence we have already seen has just been used so damn well with the GP Barrage, the Super Mega Death Rocket. Of course, TT are going to get the turret here with Rift Herald on our screen, but I think importantly enough, OMG have been using the tools so well, which is why this game feels so competitive.
OMG have definitely been able to take fights or find picks, you know, when they're the ones setting it up. TT have been the more proactive ones, so typically OMG aren't able to get the setups they want. As we see here, TT still being the aggressors.
Aki's just caught out. It's 20 seconds before Dragon, and with the turret going down mid, TT just moved to the right, and it's like Tinder. Let's swipe that, we'll take it. Okay, well, Jerry's next. Jerry is going to get out. Ucal very ambitious with that ult.
He was, and we just saw one of those tools of why Jerry on the Rakan is a lot more confident to be able to walk forward and face check into enemy vision than, you know, maybe should be, but Ucal not able to connect with it. So now OMG are trying to pivot, right? They know it's getting harder to contest in these 5v5s, though. I guess it wasn't really a 5v5 considering Aki did get picked off.
Sure.
But it seems like OMG, now the play is look across map. Put Creme on the opposite side of the map. He is still incredibly strong with the fact that he can steal away Hoya's ult and try and punish the Gnar, but Creme's getting punished himself.
I mean, Jerry's coming up, but with the Mega Gnar and Flash, you don't risk it. Creme this game, Lyric, he's on Sylas. This is his best champion, 4-0. I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what's going on with OMG because we just flip a script and Aki's now in the middle of nowhere. Well, his own jungle and dead.
And it just keeps coming down to these places where the player's not expecting the collapse to come through. When you're just seeing them push through mid, you actually see them exiting into your bot side jungle.
Yep.
For Aki, it seems like he's trying to stay in a position where he's still in the area, could potentially like wrap around for a flank or a pick, you know, like once things get set up. But it is just giving a lot of emphasis over to the side of TT, who like might not have the best engaged tools, but Ucal and Beichuan still have the ability to jump forward.
And will it really matter when you're dragon stacking in this game, Lyric, and you have the front to back? and OMG have to come into you, right? Like, the fight will be forced because there's an Ocean Soul coming up. TT got the last one, 3.5 minutes until we get the next, and right now in a comfortable position, considering that the objectives have been, well, in their basket in the last fight.
For TT, they're just feeling smooth with how it's going so far, and even making their way to nice secondary item breakpoints. Already seen the last Whisper in pocket for Puff, trying to get some, shredding of the resistances down. Even Beichuan making his way to that Gangplank chainsword. We talked about it the other day, just how efficient it is ever since it got given more AD and ability haste. And with things like Sylas on the opposing side, gonna give Beichuan, at least a decent little bit of value.
Oh yeah, I mean, we've seen people building it first. It's funny that we've been going back from Divine Sunder and now to Gangplank to Divine Sunder again. But at the very least, those two going hand in hand for quite a while now. I also like that, we get an alludance here from Ucal Lyric. Instead of other things on the Azir, like, we've seen some crazy builds recently. Leandre's, even Crown, we've seen randomly.
Yeah, we've had Crown some games. I feel like we've been having a lot of Leandre's come out lately, but Ucal, I mean, going for pretty much a pure, pub stomp the squishies build with the fact that you are getting the Ludens proc able to come out consistently. You're getting the magic pen in there as well. So Ucal going to be able to do a lot against members like Abel and Shanji, and just we've already seen the damage he was able to do to Jerry in an earlier engage. So definitely Ucal coming in strong.
But just take a look on our screens. I mean, TT right now, they're trying to bait in the Baron, but that one ward from OMG, that's a nuisance. TT right now still waiting in the brushes, but OMG haven't seen them walk past into the tri-brush, into the pixel brush, excuse me. So TT for now, as they sit here and give safety to Hoya, OMG should be comfortable knowing that they don't really have to overextend.
And I like the way they've been playing the map, right? Because it comes down to the core that we talked about. Yao, Beichuan, and Ucal holding hands in the enemy jungle, going back and forth. They know their AD carry's safe to catch waves in mid because they have vision surrounding both sides, and then putting pressure up towards top. So I feel like TT's, how they're playing out the map right now is actually really nice and putting a lot of pressure onto the side of OMG. OMG's only response is Shanji pushing down in that bottom lane.
Yeah, at least getting a big push here. A minute 30 before Dragon, so you can see already some warning being placed by OMG, but TT are making their way down. In setup of the objective now, Shanji getting the scuttle, and he won't die for it, or will he, as flashes over the wall with a simple heartbreaker. Beichuan taking the risk and absolutely loves it.
Luckily as well, it's going to come up about the same time as Dragon. Almost on the dot, it'll be up there for the Dragon fight. So OMG maybe looking for a bit of a fight right now, especially while Creme has... Right, you just use TP, you have the Gnar ultimate, you want to find something, or it just feels like, one, you wasted a summoner spell, and two, you're not getting value out of this ultimate.
Did they see him? I mean, Yao's coming back in, they're waiting for him. Now with the Everfrost, he flashes away, but Creme...
That was so close.
Doesn't Gnar ulti at the beginning, and right now the mid lane are not getting the pick that they wanted, but at least OMG, that'll help set them up, Lyric, with 45 seconds to the objective. Set me up a little bit more if TT want to contest this with the position we're currently seeing.
For TT, you would expect that they want to start bringing Hoya down quite soon. I don't know what the HP is of the top turret, but you would think TT should feel good enough to be able to contest this objective. You've got to look for the push in mid because you do have the longer range, and just try to use that to pull one member of OMG out of river, like someone like Abel, and force your way in. But OMG aren't letting them get that far. They want to find and engage right now. And
look, the control wards on either side mean that for TT, as soon as this wave's cleared, going back to the Dragon is big, but for TT as well, top side still getting pushed, Lyric. And right now, Baron only has one ward around it. They want to threaten this objective while OMG try to settle for their second Dragon of the game.
For TT, I like that they committed to this for so long. Being able to get another turret off this play with the fact that OMG keep posturing.
Jerry, you cheeky devil. Like another episode of Seinfeld as Hoya jumps on in and Creme dodges away. He's about to go Gnar, but a Gnar ulti stolen in response. OMG right now in a different path as the Sun turret's put up. Mid turret goes down. Inner turret was taken by Hoya, and Dragon might go through, but TT right now getting a massive gold trade, Lyric, with 4K and positioning around this Baron once again.
Yeah, and it looks like they're considering going for it, but the fact that they took a bunch of turrets, they denied what looked like a wave and a half of minions up in topside that was just dying to turret. They denied a bunch of golden EXP to the side of OMG. They got a bunch of golden experience for themselves. Now it's 2 dragons apiece, but for TT, when you're confident you're scaling, expanding your gold lead is just phenomenal.
Oh, it really is. I mean, we've got a Rabadon's death cap on this Azir, so look towards him for the fight with an LDR on AD. This Baron going down fast, and as we come out of vision, Hoya's about to go Gnar. TT looking for the fight. Creme still has his own, but how's that timer going? Well, Shanji sets up the barrel chain, but disconnects. Creme's be spotted by a great control ward as Hoya ults him, Puff hits him over the wall. Vision wins games. Take that into your solo queue.
That was just from the setup of TT, right? Knowing he's coming.
Oh, Ucal with a brilliant ult off the side of our screen. Shanji is dead too, and TT Lyric, it ain't just about the early game this time around. Their mid game looking clean too.
TT just have been spot on in this game so far. I've liked the way they've played the map. They've been working as a cohesive unit, playing around Ucal's damage. Even here, Ucal knowing he can zone them out from the pit because he can always just dash away. Double kill is a 1v2!
I mean, he's got a rabbit on death cap. Double kill into triple. I see Ucal and I smile from ear to ear.
It's so great to see the members of TT delivering this kind of performance. From the early game, just from the bat, right? Coming out strong with Beichuan and snowballing it throughout this game. We'll see how this all started. Ucal going in. Stream a shuffle. Flash there as well to close the distance. Sets up for Shanji to be taken down. They had already picked off Creme. Now it's a 5v3. They know they're safe to get the Baron, but Ucal, you've hit on it. Having the death cap, just look at the amount of damage that he's dishing out with those Sand Soldiers. And then Jerry, like, my God, he was at like 40% of his health, just absolutely deleted. Aki trying to find his way into a pit. This is a desperation play. They feel them getting outscaled. They feel themselves falling further behind, and they're just trying to find anything they can to keep themselves in the game.
I just love watching Jerry. There's so many moments where, you know, you start playing the Seinfeld music in your head. You know, bop, 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 bop. You're like, okay. Well, here's Creme. Ladies and gentlemen, OMG getting smashed. This is no simple way to say it. If you're an OMG fan right now, you've watched the FBX series. Game number 1 didn't look convincing. It was the game 2, game 3 recovery that really gave you hope. And I don't know if OMG do it again, but for now, TT are slaughtering them. It's been clean. It's now looking like it's going to be fast too at 26 minutes. And with Ucal having a Rylai's, well, OMG want to stop him from pushing the turret, so they engage on Beichuan, but Yao with good disengage while Beichuan ults out. Ucal's ulti missing this time around as Gnar stolen from Creme, but look at the poke. Hoya's going to hit him. Ucal going to do the same. Goodbye again, Creme. His Sylas undefeated. No longer. They are getting slaughtered piece by piece, and TT looking like pure thunder yet again.
At this point, TT are just too large. The amount of damage this Azir is dishing out is off the charts. I can't believe they weren't able to finish off Beichuan there. A little bit like their follow-up engage once he came out of his stopwatch. They just looked a little bit confused. And now TT gonna be able to get so much off this. I wonder if they're just gonna keep funneling in, looking for the end, or if they'll back off.
Well,
nope,
backing off, taking the solo play, I guess.
Gonna pay their respects. I appreciate that, right? TT are in a position where I feel like this is such a critical moment for them, right? We've kind of already highlighted the stakes for both these teams as we're on the last 4 weeks of LPL. The fact that they are in a position where they can look to get to playoffs would be so huge for them. We see here Beichuan getting locked down, and then Aki and Co running forward. I'm kind of surprised they wouldn't opt into more of engage onto the other members of TT on the right side, but maybe not wanting to give a position to where Ucal can come unchecked to be able to punish, and it just sets up to where, well, even though they actually don't all in on the members down in that bottom lane, Ucal was able to do that anyway.
Yeah. I mean, he put the soldiers down, and as you said, the damage is too much. For TT, Lyric, this is a really good sign of life at this point where Sign Seal delivered OMG. You're right in the fact that this is crucial. TT closing out the game, it's been an issue before, and I feel like this tells a lot about the team in this week 7. But as top turrets looking to be taken down, they're really dotting the I's, crossing the T's. Hoya's mid as well, and Lyric OMG on their last legs in this game.
Oh, 100%. I don't really think there's much I can do. Even now, Puff just picked up the Infinity Edge, so now hitting that 60% crit chance. Like, he's going to be huge in these fights. And you have two waves of supers that you have to deal with. So TT playing out through all 3 lanes, trying to spread the members of OMG thin so they can take this final turret. But for them, it looks like you said, dotting the T's, crossing the I's. They're just going to go all the way back down to picking up that dragon.
Shanji can barely clear waves. Jerry wants to take this on, and what else can you do at this point? But Gnar about to come up as he goes golden, and Ucal's coming on in. The ult against the wall as this Azir is hitting from the back line. Creme doesn't get him, and you know it's all over. It'll be the AD carry and Puff who picks up number one as Shanji's ult not doing anything to zone. At least Puff goes down for OMG, but look at this Azir. The Bird Emperor still at full HP. Who cares, TT? Keep it going as Jerry pops his head through the wall and suddenly a spear rams it shut. Abel again. Ucal is having the time of his life right now, trying to make himself look even better.
The best part to me is the fact that the person with the most, I'd say, like, maybe LPL or Mojo Energy in this play is Ucal, which is just crazy, right, considering how recently he's coming over. So the other members of TT are the ones like, no, we get Dragon, but Ucal knows he's feeling it. Ucal's feeling himself. He knows that no matter if other members come in, he could probably just explode them with a few hits of the soldier and the Q going through. We're going to see here, though, OMG, they see Hoya by himself. They want to all in and find this pick. Stopwatch comes in at a good time and then finds the lockdown onto Aki. They are able to zone some other members out, but Creme kind of left in no man's land after he looked for the engage. Cannon Barrage is able to stop the follow-up, and Puff does go down. He was trying so hard to get that kill on the Jerry.
Oh, he really wanted it. You could see in Puff's eyes. Got a stopwatch now, so things get a little bit easier when he dives in deep, but TT still faces and tatters against their enemy. They know Baron's coming up in 25 seconds, Lyric. They're not going to get to the Dragon at this point, let's be real. 30 minutes until, well, not till the game ends. It's been 30 minutes. I feel like it's a couple of minutes until the game ends at the very least. As TT continue choking out Vision, and OMG are going to try and walk this one in, but they know it's dire. Okay.
Ucal's like pretty much full build. This Creme getting caught out once again.
By Creme. Okay, Creme on Sylas, 0-5. He was 4-0 before this, and now he's got more deaths than losses individually on the champion. All wins, Lyric. I don't know where I'm going with this, but I know where TT are. Right to the Nexus. OMG just beat FPX. Suddenly TT show up. Hoya, Ucal, Puff, right in their faces as Aki looks for the last stand on this flashless AD carry. He has a stopwatch, but it's used at last minute while look in the back line. Ucal still hitting away. Even though Puff dies again, it shouldn't matter. One Nexus turret left standing as the AoE from Shanji helping out. The wave thinned out. They just need to end this game. TT, who cares? Show me the gumption. Go for it.
I can actually understand this time, right? They find a kill onto the Aphelios. Abel got excited off it. His range right now is pretty insane considering he also has the rapid fire cannon, right? So I like TT's respect, but it's like, man, Puff, we got to stop getting caught out.
Yep.
We got to be on the same page because we see it when Ucal's involved in the fights. That really is when the damage is being dished out, but is there a world where OMG actually bring this back? 7k gold down. They're up against a team that's on Soul Point with, you know, like strong damage. But Abel's being given time to become a little bit of a monster on his own. And Abel has been a member that we've been highlighting quite consistently the past few weeks, just with the amount of highlights he's delivered. I believe he's been in our top 5 plays to like maybe 2 out of the past 3 weeks, or maybe all of them. Like, he has been in there almost always towards that number 1-2 spot with what he's doing.
He has been huge, but is he caught out now too? I mean, he has flash available, but Hoya hits him against the wall. Jerry can't save him. Heartbreaker there, and down he goes. A great flank, and you curse the hell out of him, Lyric, as Hoya looks for a double stun yet again. I don't know how TT can lose it this time. Puff is alive, ladies and gentlemen. The AD carry of TT, stay back there. Leave it to Ucal, leave it to Hoya, and Beichuan, who gets yet another against their final Nexus turret. This time, I can feel it, Lyric. I think this is going to be it.
TT fans, no thanks needed for hyping up Abel, but you're right. They're finally able to push us in. They're going to look for the end.
Well, it comes a little bit later than expected. There's another good ult here from Hoya, but at the very least, TT close it out. Better late than never here with their Game 1 win with 17 kills against OMG.
Great to see Beichuan keeping up the early game aggression despite the fact that we're like, you know, not as many moving parts in this composition. They leaned heavily on some of the pry on some of the strengths of their lanes to be able to do that. And then, I mean, the mid-game transition was just so much better than I feel like what we consistently see from TT. Like the way they were playing the map of like knowing using that 3-man squad, the vision down, as you highlighted, allowed Hoya to find that one pick onto Creme. And just nice play. I feel like Hoya had a great showing. Ucal especially was putting up those damage numbers. And just the fact that TT were on the same page and knew what they were going to do. And then you just compound that on the fact that how fresh this roster is together. Beating OMG, beating FPX, I'm sorry, is just beating OMG, who beat FPX. That was the sentence. It's great to see it come together.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, especially when Beichuan and Yao were the people we talked about quite a lot. I feel like Puff in the end had a couple of mistakes, but, you know, a relatively clean game outside of that. But the objective control there, Lyric, that the warding we saw, choking out and stalling the game quite a bit. It feels like TT around Baron, even around these first couple of objectives. Beichuan was quite slick. Yao with the roam as well. I don't know. It feels like TT are developing here, and it feels like some of these core players are once again hitting the marks that we kind of set up at the start of the show.
I mean, definitely, right? I mean, we saw the team right there between Jungle and Sport coming through for the side of TT. And then the fact that Poya and Ucal, I mean, both coming over from the LCK not too long ago, can step up and show these performances now, kind of having each other. You assume it bridges the communication a little bit. It's just overall really fun. It's really great when our teams who are at the bottom consistently over the years are able to slowly shift around pieces and then get to a split where things are working out. What was nice, and you can even see TT a lot of times trying to do their due diligence in terms of like, hey, we can push an end, but this dragon's up, let's go back and do that, or we got a bunch of kills, but we're sitting on gold, let's get the resets. It was nice to see how you can tell how seriously they were taking cementing their advantage and being able to find this game one win.
Yeah, I mean, it was not over forcing it. I think that gave me respect for TT, or at least gave TT my respect, because at this point, you know, we at that point in the game, rather, we'd see teams like anyone else in the league probably just try and force it, right? Flip away the Nexus. But TT dotting the I's, crossing the T's, as we said. It feels nice to be talking positive about this team. You know, despite the couple of hiccups towards the end, at the very least, punishing OMG so well. Creme on Sylas there, Lyric.